we wake, hear the birds and see the sun. Side by side our fears are done. Oh, the good times just begun.
We've been having some really hard times out here, so we've had to start drinking our own urine.
Found what we're looking for in life. Call us crazy.
These are the tales of Boab.
And it's actually not that bad once you put it in the refrigerator and you cool it down. It's a lot better. It's just when it's warm, it's really just the temperature that kills you. All of this stuff that has to be replaced, it's all mainly because of this right here. This is the exhaust elbow. Whoops. So that's the old exhaust elbow, and because the old exhaust elbow had issues, it caused issues with the circulation pump. It caused salt water to shower our alternator. It caused our boots to get all gunked up and corroded. So it's kind of all a chain reaction from here.
Found what we're looking for in life.
So we've immediately run into our first snafu right out of the gate. We're trying to put the elbow on. So this comes out at a different spot than the high-rise elbow. So when we tried to put our old hose on and line it up, it doesn't line up with the waterlock muffler. We're gonna have to cut off like 2 inches, and we really don't have, I've tried to cut this hose before and it's surprisingly tough. So we need to go into town and get this cut, but it's Sunday. We decided let's go with the air hose and the new filter. We've actually never had an air filter on it, so we just had this hose, and that's not great. So we want to get off to a decent start, so let's do something that we might have some success with. Yeah. So that just kind of pops on. Oh. Okay. Air filter. Wow, that looks nice. Oh, might as well just make. All right, what do we got going on here?
We need this piece off of our old water circulation pump to put on the new one.
Yeah, if you notice, this is a new one. It comes like this, but there's nowhere for the belt to go.
Yep.
So this is a total separate part here.
And we're pretty stoked that we're able to loosen these.
We had it was really hard because when you try to loosen it, it turns. So I had Michael hold one of the wrenches, and I went as hard as I could, and we were able to break them all free. But at first, it was seeming impossible.
That's a win.
Another win. 2 wins. Hey!
Got it.
Alright. So this is the part we need to reuse.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, we're just test fitting the circulation pump, making sure we have all the correct bolts, the correct sizes. And you might notice we have this massive extender here. We didn't always have this. This came in the mail with a card, Paracord and more. Grant Smelser and Doris Smelser. We're gonna put it to good use right out of the gate. Just this makes it real easy to get around this. Just look at that. I mean, that is an extender right there. Just are you gonna take this one, or do you want me to do it? You got this, Lola? What do you think? Oh, okay. Well, I should probably. So we ordered these the hardware. So when we were taking off our circulation pump, we snapped 3 bolts and some other things got mangled. But we ordered these by the part number, and they're just too long. So it's the old vice grip and the Dremel. I'm just gonna try to shorten this about 1/2 inch or so. I got a little mark on here. Pretty simple, I think. I don't even think we need a B-roll for this. We'll just be right back. So I cut them both perfectly, of course, because I'm a pro when it comes to fabrication. And then Michael tried to put it on, but it wouldn't even thread. Why not?
Guys, I'm so confused. I don't know what just happened. Like, we were test fitting for so long, and we knew that these were too long to work, where we need to mount the arm for the alternator on this pump. But once we cut it, they wouldn't even thread. They were way too short. So then I just stuck this one on randomly, and it's perfect.
So I ordered extra of everything. So we had like way too many. So that's good, because I cut 2 of them, and then those are worthless now. So I'm not really sure what happened there,
Babe.
Michael. Are you feeling okay?
Are you messing with me?
To be honest, I told Michael you can do the test fit. I whipped up some beef and ate just to make sure I was not gonna get hangry, because I was starting to feel a little bit irritable. Michael says I'm being sassy, but I'm pretty sure she's being sassy.
He was being sassy earlier, and now he's getting upset with me because now I want to be sassy. Just don't know why we cut those bolts.
There can only be one sassy person per team, so if we're both sassy, it's just a sassy disaster. So this is the real fit. So this time we're gonna go ahead and put this thermostat right in there, and this little spring goes on like so.
How do you know which way it goes on?
Well, because you can just look at a diagram. Also, it just fits really well like this. If you try to stick it in this way, it just doesn't fit like a glove. It's not like a glove. It's more like a
mitten.
Like a mitten. So next goes the gasket. This beautiful gasket, followed by a backing plate coming in hot. Let's see here. I think that goes on like so. And then we got this. This was in our extra, because we didn't have this little hardware.
Because it was snapped off.
Because it's snapped off. But we found something that I think is going to work. And we did put anti-seize on this, and we are going to put anti-seize on every single bolt. But this one's good. So that goes on, and then this gasket just goes over the top.
Did you forget something crucial?
Did I? The spring? Ah! Cut. Take two. So the spring has got to go in there. That is, I'm not really sure what the spring does. I just know that's supposed to be there. So we put the spring in. And then that makes that little screw make a lot more sense. It's really hard to hold that in. So this goes in the back here and just holds it all together for you. Like that.
Is there a reason why we do everything twice?
No.
Just because it's fun.
But you said even your dad and Aaron do everything twice, and they're professionals. So.
Yeah, I think there's a reason.
And then this gasket goes on the back, and now we're ready to slap that baby on Volvo Penta. So let's cut to Michael and see what she can do.
All right, I got all the fasteners organized, so we're not going to get confused about cutting bolts again. Clockwise from the top.
And show them up close how they're all different lengths. That's why it's kind of confusing.
They're all different lengths.
It's crazy.
It makes a difference. Yeah. So those are different. These are different.
Why don't we show them what we're going with here?
We're going to use some anti-sneeze. The other one.
That looks good. Lesson learned.
That's crazy, but things are finally right. With you and I, the future is bright.
All right, that was a pretty huge win for today. I think it's time to go to the beach, unwind a little bit, then clean up, and we're gonna call it. Hey guys, it's another day, and we're still working on putting our engine back together. It's pretty crazy out there today, just super windy, so that kind of got us a little bit stressed out. Definitely not stressed out about the engine, not at all. We're really just feeling great, pretty calm. We think this is going to be easy, breezy, beautiful. Joel's in there right now, and his assistant Lola is helping out with everything he needs, grabbing him tools. So I'm pretty much just sitting back and relaxing. I think this is going to be a really great day.
What do you think? Does that look right to you, Lola? Should we just reuse that or what? I'm no expert, but that doesn't look good. Directly from the batteries, we have the wire that comes to here, and then there was another wire that comes out of here, and then it goes directly to the engine. And then from the engine, then there's another wire that goes to the alternator. Alright, I do believe we've figured out what this is. It is a shunt, and it's all kind of making sense. This is kind of like a mystery. It's fun solving it. We texted our friend Bill. We did a lot of Google research. And again, we discovered this is a shunt, and we're 99% positive it did not matter whether the positive or the negative wire ran through the shunt. The purpose of the shunt was in order to tell you how many amps were being produced from the alternator. So this is our old amp reader, and this was removed, and now that I'm remembering everything, this was actually connected. So we've replaced it. This used to be here, and I removed it and put in our Victron. This is way newer technology. It tells us all this great information, right? So what we have determined is we don't need the shunt. So obviously we're not going to reuse this. We're not using this anymore. As it is right now, the negative goes from our battery bank to the engine, and it's grounded to the engine, and from the engine then the negative goes from there to the alternator. And I think as we understand it now, we are going to attempt to connect the positive wire to the engine. There's a spot for it to connect to the engine, and from there directly to the alternator. Okay, again, this is strange, but this is our negative. This is connected from the batteries. You can see here it's connected to the engine, and from here this was connected to our alternator. The positive went to the shunt, and from the shunt it was connected here, if you can see this terminal. So that's on the engine as well, right? It's connected to the engine.
Right. So, like, obviously you would need the positive from the batteries to go there to the starter. That's the starter. Okay, so that's not the ground. Welcome back to the Bum's Garage. Michael.
Yo.
Just putting in our new hosing here. How's it going?
Good.
I'm just trying to show him this new hoser. It was pretty hard to get it in there, but oh, you've already got it connected. So that's brand new hose. All right. So we got to get that hose in before we hook the alternator up, because once the alternator's on, that's not going on. So we've got all the wiring figured out for the alternator. We're pretty sure. I lost a little bit of hair. Just seems a little stressful if you do something wrong. It says start a fire or blow up your batteries. I don't know if I'm cut out for the diesel mechanic stuff. So the old engine was named Crusty-Rusty?
Yeah, Trusty, Crusty, Rusty, Volvo Penta, but now I think, you know, assuming all goes well and we can get it back in one piece, we're gonna call her the Black Stallion. That doesn't make sense. We'll call him the Black Stallion? Yeah.
Black Stallion. Excuse me, old girl. Well, alright, just as long as I can see. If you want to be a part of this, that's fine. I just want to...
come here.
It's okay.
Come here, sweetie.
Alright. Noda, excuse me. Thank you. Thank you. So, before we hook this alternator up, we're not going to really be able to show you. Plus, it might be another fun game for you guys. We're going to tell you our plan before we hook it up, and then you guys can be like, no! What are you doing? We have 4 terminals that we're going to use on this alternator. Excuse me, old girl. Thank you. That's great. That's great. So we got the negative here. So this is going to be our big fat black cable here. And then we got the positive. We're going to just hook the big red cable to this one. Down here, we believe it's our battery sensor terminal, and we're thinking it's this little guy here. It's 2 wires connected together. So we're going to go ahead and stick that on there, and on this side, it's the ignition, we believe, which is this little tiny black wire here. And we're also going to put our tachometer. From what we can tell, the tachometer, it doesn't matter which terminal it's on, as long as it's on a terminal, it'll sense the RPMs. That's what we believe. Hopefully we're right. We're about to hook everything up.
Alright guys, I was getting a little hangry, so I'm having a snack. We're basically going to wrap this up. And moving forward, we've got some good news and some bad news.
You guys want the good news first or the bad news? I bet you said bad news.
Bad news is that we've got 3 exhaust elbows and not a single one of them is a great option. But we do have 4 options.
Option A is just to go with the 90 degree and plug and play. The problem is that this is going to be at the water line, and that's a little scary from what we've read.
Option B was to turn this into a vented loop situation. So put it like this, have the water come out of the boot, go to a vented loop above the water line, and then come down into the elbow. Yeah, we've got a diagram. We've been doing a little research. You guys will be proud of us. What we just realized, though, just a couple minutes ago, is that we don't have any room to attach a hose right here, because the way this is like the boot would just be completely in the way. So if you have any ideas of how we could maybe make something work there, that would be awesome to know. Let us know in the comments. We'd love to do a vented loop.
Yeah, that's our most desired option. Option C is to go with the old trusty hunk, and a good friend of ours in the harbor, Bruce, he told us, you know, you can just burn the thing, get it almost red hot, go to a welder, just have him put a torch on it for, I don't know how long, a long time it sounds like, and just get super hot. He said it's just carbon buildup in there, and he says the carbon will burn out if you just get it super hot. So that's option C.
Option D is to make something work with this stylish custom built elbow. So the problem here again is that the boot, it doesn't quite line up. Like, we need it to be angled just so to attach, so it's a little bit too short, it's angled the wrong way. So what we were thinking is we could take it to a local welder, cut it off, shorten it a bit, reposition it, weld it on just so that it might work, and then we could add some fiberglass to this part to insulate it from the hot air. But then we heard from a good friend in the harbor that the 90-degree angles here that the hot air would need to pass through are actually kind of like an obstruction, and that's gonna make it difficult for our exhaust to work properly. So we're a little nervous about that. So let us know in the comments what you think our best option moving forward might be, or if there's an option E.
If you have an option E
that we haven't thought of,
throw that in the comments.
Yeah.
Below. But as far as the engine, she's looking good. Everything else went together fine. It's just we solved this issue and we're moving forward.
We're going to Grenada.
All right.
If we don't solve this, we're not.
Time for the good news. The good news. Somehow, it's crazy. It blows our mind, but we just reached 100 patrons. And we made that our goal. And we said, if we reach 100 patrons, we're going to do this thing called Bums Buried Treasure. It's just going to be like behind the scene blooper reel stuff. And all of a sudden that time is now. So if you're a patron of ours, thank you, and be on the lookout for the very first Bums Buried Treasure. To all of you career diesel mechanics, if you have any tips on how to not stress out and get hemorrhoids and lose your hair while doing this, please leave those in the comments below, if that's possible.
I wasn't stressing out.
Well, I know, I was asking for me though.
I was just getting hangry.
Alright, we'll see you next time.
These are the tales of Moab. Over here. Over here.
Come on, Willie. Pay attention. Focus.
Moab!
Lola dipped. How come you're so quiet?